No matter how high-tech, highfalutin, lazy, or foo-foo America gets, we will never stop hunting and fishing. This is the Hunting Quest. Hunting Quest. We take 1 hour of every week and talk about our favorite things in the world, hunting and fishing. You'll get tips and help on the fishing environment locally in the DMV area. Plus, we're going to have fun along the way. This is the Hunting Quest. And now your host, Mike Tippin and Bennett Malin.
Dude, I'm getting pretty fast with it.
I see.
I'm trying to hit them right on that beat drop.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting them pretty close.
I think you got it, man.
It's amazing what 3 days of practice will get you.
Oh, man.
We're still here at the Virginia Outdoor Show.
We are?
It is day 3.
It is.
Now.
3 good days.
3 great days.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We're here with Tyler from SkyHound. Tyler, how you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the chair setup and sitting down for a second. It's a lot 3 days of standing on your feet.
It is. This concrete doesn't help, does it?
No, it does not.
Oh, man. I've seen some of these vendors. They they've got like the puzzle piece, little flex, step on all over the place.
Yeah,
those things are a game changer.
That's money.
I'm gonna get some Tempur-Pedic shoes next time. I'm gonna get a little
Hey, they
mat
got
under my
foot fitter
feet.
here.
I mean, I'm gonna get into it next time for sure.
Or is it walking stores? So they got some of that stuff over here.
Yeah, I know. We'll get a foot massage in between.
Yeah, somebody makes some money here doing that.
They would,
for sure.
For sure.
Oh, well, obviously, man, it's great having you on. Frank told us a lot about you. He is super, super stoked about this, and so are we.
Yeah.
So tell us about why you're here and what you got going on.
Yeah. So as Benny said, Tyler Richards with SkyHound. So we are a drone deer recovery service located in Leesburg, Virginia, and we operate in Virginia, Maryland, and West Virginia. We're coming into our second season here with the start of early season in Virginia. I think that's second weekend in September, if I'm correct.
Yep.
We're doing drone deer recovery. I'm sure everybody's seen it on YouTube. It's kind of blowing up on social everywhere.
It is.
And last season was kind of our inception. I've been in the drone world a long time, familiar with the product, and saw how it was taking off, and ultimately saw how it was going to be able to help recover more deer.
So how did you, obviously, I mean, now it's, okay, wow, I get this, It's
Yeah.
like, and it's hard to explain it, but now that the capability is there, the opportunity, to not have a deer loss. We'll get more into that, but what on earth? How did you get into this? I mean, like flying drones. How did you start there? And then, how did that take off?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I've always had kind of a passion for aviation and drones. Always been interested in it.
Yeah.
And then have had some of this technology for, a number of years. Started with some of the smaller Mavic series with some of the thermal equipment, just playing around with it.
Sure.
And always kind of knew that there was the opportunity to, help locate a wounded animal or a harvested game animal.
For sure.
And just, through family and friends throughout the seasons over the past couple of years, I started doing more and more of it.
Yeah.
And then when things started to kind of blow up last season on social and I saw more and more of it, I decided now was the time to jump on this. So I kind of always knew that thermal and being able to have it on a drone and be able to cover a property, via aerial,
right,
would give hunters the ability to hopefully not have any more animals go lost. I mean, it's the worst feeling in the world as a hunter, as we all know.
God, yes.
It's a crazy business model to tell people I hope they never have to call me.
Yeah.
But I know statistically they will.
Absolutely.
So if we can help lower that percentage rate of deer lost in a season, that's what it's all about. That's ultimately what we're trying to do.
I think that's amazing. Yeah. I do. So amazing. We actually talked a little bit before the podcast, and there is truly. I mean, if you're an outdoorsman, you've probably shot and lost a deer. If you haven't, it's coming.
It's coming.
And there is nothing more gut wrenching ever than to have that happen. So now that you got these drones, I saw your drone over there. That thing's a beast.
Yeah,
I mean,
big girl.
It's monster. And you got the optics on that thing are just amazing.
Yeah.
What's your success rate? How does that, when you go out, tell us a day in a life,
Yeah. So we try not to give out like a hard percentage just because it's there's so many varying factors with weather, conditions, shot placement, everything.
Sure.
What we like to say is that if that deer is dead within 800 yards of your shot or last blood, we have a really, really good shot at
Awesome.
locating that animal.
Yep.
And that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Because 800 yards is a big area to cover, especially if you're hunting steep terrains, hollers, thickets, cutovers.
Most of West Virginia.
I mean, most of Virginia are areas are
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, gosh, I've trailed deer where, it was 10 feet to our left, and we passed by it 15 times because it's pitch black dark, and you're on your hands and knees crawling through God knows what, looking for specks of blood.
Yep.
And deer can run a long way on
Yes.
good shots.
Yeah, for sure.
And those are deer that could be found quicker and not allow for meat spoilage or for predators to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And ultimately put more meat on the table.
For sure. And that's a big one. Have you ever been to Kansas?
I never have. No, I've never hunted out west.
So I hunt a lot out there, and if you shoot a deer, roughly, you have about 15 to 20 minutes before the coyotes are on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no amount of anything you do. I mean, you can trap and you can do your best, but 15 minutes before that deer is getting chewed on.
Yeah.
And if you got a trophy buck out there,
Yeah.
it's over.
Time is of the essence, for sure.
And so a drone, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I do. Whether it's just recovery, the faster the better, where it's at, and then you're not, traipsing all over.
Yeah.
Come back and get to hunt again.
I like to tell people it's the least intrusive way to help locate your animal.
I like that.
Not to mention the safety aspects of, like I mentioned before, if you're out there in dark, weather moves in, things get slippery. We're not all athletes,
Yeah,
we're not
no.
all out there scaling ridges every day. So, if you're up in that stand, you take a shot on the deer and you don't see that deer go down,
Right.
give us a call. I mean, it's worth it.
Wow. And
Yeah.
now, typically, hunting season's your busy season,
Mhm.
right? How fast does it take for y'all to kind of get everything packed up and ready to go?
I mean, we can be out the door in under 5 minutes. I mean, that drone packs up into its little carrying case, throw the batteries in the truck, and we're on the road.
Wow.
Now, Virginia's a big state, so depending
Yeah.
on where you are, it might
Roanoke.
take us a couple hours. Luckily, we do have some other operators throughout the state that we can kind of rely on if, we're out on a mission up in Northern Virginia and someone gives us a call in Roanoke or Floyd County or something like that.
Yeah.
We can pivot and let those guys go, and so make sure that we can help out as many people as possible.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good business model, my friend.
We're getting excited.
Yeah.
We got some big plans for it. I think this season's going to be an absolute grind. I think just everybody that's come by the booth today, and we've done a couple of other shows, and just seeing the guys out in Ohio, the amount of attention that's brought to it, this is going to be on everyone's mind that can't find a buck this season, or
100%.
can't find a doe
Oh,
this
yeah.
season. We're going to get a call.
I know when we were talking to Frank last week, or a couple weeks ago, he was, brought it up that you guys were going to be here, and I was like, man, I've heard of it, but I don't know that I've actually seen any of the videos.
Yeah.
And one came up on my feed that night of,
Yep.
they had just like you have at your booth with it plugged into the TV,
Mm-hmm.
and so the dude's sitting there flying it, and they've got it up on the TV in this hunting lodge, and all the guys are sitting around drinking beer, and they were just doing a land survey. They weren't looking for a deer, and man, they're sitting there, and there's turkeys up roosted in the tree, and they're looking at them, and the guys are getting all excited about it. I'm like, man, that'd be so fun to sit and do.
Yeah.
And they're flying over, and there's 6 deer bedded in this corner,
Yep.
and they're flying down, and the bucks are in velvet right now, and this buck turns and looks up at the camera, and they were like, oh my god. So there's more to it than just tracking, right?
Yeah.
You guys do the land surveys
Yeah.
and herd or population survey and stuff like that too.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of drone technology, I think, today, is it's still, everybody's kind of used to them now. Everybody sees them. DJI's
Sure.
huge, and everybody knows of the product and what they can do, but it's still in its infancy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, there's so much coming down the pipeline with remote ID and other legislation that's going to open up the skies for drones in the coming years.
How long you think that's going to take?
I mean, nothing moves quickly in the government,
No, it
so
doesn't.
I'm
No,
not
it
going to
doesn't.
I'm not going to put a number on it.
Okay. All right.
Relatively soon.
Okay.
In
I like
the next
that.
few years, I think. But I think we're just going to see things explode with drone technology. And yeah, I mean, drone deer recovery, I think for me personally, as the owner of the company, that's what I'm passionate about. I'm a hunter. I always have been. And so for me, that's what I love to do. If a hunter gives me a call and I can come out and help you find, if it's a kid's first doe,
There
or,
you go.
A trophy
Absolutely.
buck, or even it's just, hey, we want to make sure our meat doesn't spoil.
Yeah.
Those are the things that really excite me to get out there. And those 2 a.m. calls, hey, I can't find my buck. I'm jumping out of bed to get in the truck.
Right.
But yeah, as you said, in the off season, we're doing a lot of herd analysis. We're doing a lot of property maps,
Yeah.
which is just really cool to see, like you said, popping that drone up, getting an idea of how many deer you have on your property, what's the buck to doe ratios, where do we need to do more property management, what does the bedding situation look like, do we need to do more timber stand improvement. It's just eye-opening when you get that aerial view and you're seeing it live, and then also we can do orthomosaic maps of your property. So we'll fly a pre-planned route of your property, and we'll put together a highly, highly detailed image of your property at the end of it. So Onyx, Google Maps, those are fantastic for everyday use. But if you really want that high-level detail, the drone flies. We typically fly about 100 to 200 feet above, and it's taking an image every couple feet. So if you imagine that at the end of a 100-acre property, you have thousands of photos that we stitch together, and at the end of it, you get this incredible map where when you zoom in, you're zooming in on a single photo that was taken from that drone.
Gotcha.
So the level of detail that you have, you can go online and check these out, but we were zooming in on a property. We did one in January. There was no leaf cover, and you were able to see, game trails going through their ridge lines to really give a better idea of what's going on that property, and that's something you have.
That's crazy.
awesome.
Forever.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy.
People are starting to use those. The off season is great, but kind of throughout each season, right?
Yeah.
You have a map in summertime, fall, and wintertime, and really be able to get a better understanding of your property.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of those. I've been to a few guys' farms where they have those, big pictures like that up.
Yep.
Where they have their tree stands marked and all that stuff, and it's really nice if you've never hunted there before, and they can say, hey, this is the trail, and you can look at the photo and see it.
Yep.
So you're gonna go in here. This is where it's gonna split. And here's your deer stand.
Yeah.
It's right here on the left side.
Because we try
It's
to
awesome.
do that with like Google Maps or something at our hunting camp.
And it's
with
always
people.
pictures from
It's-
like 5 years
Oh,
ago.
God, it's
or
terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
That's the issue. You never know when those pictures were taken.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're doing improvements to that property, if it's a new property, you're
Yeah.
putting in food plots, and none of that's going to show up on those
And-
map services.
What we do a lot of times, we do a tag out program. I mean, we don't have a lot of hunters on our property out there hunting, but the ones that we do a tag out program. Even with if there's two of you out there, we have a big picture, and it's Google, so obviously it doesn't play well.
Yeah.
But, we've got a big picture kind of sitting out there, and it looks really kind of cool. We put your tag out there so people know.
Yeah.
Hey, this is where this individual's at.
That's awesome.
From a safety perspective. But I think with that detailed map, that's it. I mean, that's money right
Game
there.
changer.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I mean, my brother can't give directions to save his life. I guarantee you, everybody who takes directions from him, they're getting lost. Even
Sad
with
to say, if you
Onyx.
ask my wife, she'd probably say the same thing. So can't give him too much gruff.
Oh, I can.
Well, it's nice too, when you're sitting there at night trying to figure out where you're going the next morning. It's not I'm looking at this satellite image from 4 years ago, and the grass is a foot tall, and it's the middle of January, and everything's dead. You can sit there and look at it and go, okay, well, this is what it looks like this time of year.
Yep.
We're, going to be. You can see what the bedding condition is in that area. You can see those game trails coming through it, and go, this might be hey, there's a travel corridor here. I'm going to go to this stand on this wind, and it makes it a lot easier to do stuff like that and really see the condition and how your farm's improving over time.
Yeah, I mean, you can scout, till you're blue in the face, and until you get that kind of aerial view of that property.
Yeah.
With a drone, you can do that through Google Maps, but it's just not
It's
the
not
same.
the same.
It's not.
It's that
Yeah.
level of detail that we're getting, and we can do all sorts of fancy stuff in post-production with those maps of adding in the topo lines in there to give you your ridges and show where the saddles are, and you can base just so much information. I mean, it's a drone at the end of the day is a data gathering tool.
Yeah.
And that's common knowledge for a lot of other industries, but I think it's starting to creep into the hunting industry a little bit more, and that's what we're doing with that drone, with drone deer recovery, with mapping, with herd analysis. We're giving the hunter as much data as they possibly can get, and on the drone deer recovery side, that data is ultimately going to give you the best chance at recovering.
Oh yeah.
deer.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, some of the videos that we have over there, the level of clarity that you can get on a deer in pitch black darkness with IR and a spotlight. I mean, you can tell on that buck or doe, okay, is that a liver shot? We need to give that deer 12 hours. Let's come back in the morning.
Holy
Or
smokes.
is that a high shoulder shot, and that didn't penetrate the scapula, and that deer is going to live to see another day? So let's give this property a week, and we'll regroup and come back out.
That's cool.
So,
Right.
That is freaking too cool.
yeah. It's crazy to see it live. The level of detail that you get.
I'd love to. I'd love to see it. Obviously, you got what you got going on, and just walking over and seeing, number one, the sheer size of that thing is a beast. But again, looking at the thermal optics, the imaging and all of that stuff, and I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, geez,
it's crazy to see.
Oh gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Kid in a candy store, though.
It
right?
is.
It's just a little bit more expensive toy.
Yeah, a little bit more. I know. I got to remind myself all the time that it's a business. I'm doing this for. I get distracted by seeing things. Right. I tell my wife I'm going to go out and get some quick Instagram footage of some bucks in the fields, and I'm out there for 2 hours.
Right. Yep.
You can just watch those things all day long.
Oh, you can.
Incredible.
It's so sick.
It's a spotting scope on steroids.
It is.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things I was really interested to ask. Actually, somebody else asked me to ask this one for you. So, asking for a friend.
Sure.
Have you ever crashed them? And when you do, how cringy is it?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it's not fun. Now, I will say I have not crashed the big drone.
Yeah, okay. I imagine they've got some pretty good fail safes.
Yeah, I mean, they all have obstacle avoidance on them. And when you're flying a bird of that size, I don't want to say that I'm any less focused than when I'm flying, a Mavic Mini or something like that, but you are just laser focused on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm also not taking that into the same areas that I would take a Mini or one of the smaller, cheaper drones. We're typically, if we're flying the big one, we are finding our hole and we are going straight up, and we're getting to that level where we're well above the tree cover, so there is nothing around us. We know, where the power lines in the property.
Yep.
So we're flying that thing with extreme caution.
Oh yeah.
One, because it's got a big price tag, and two, if that thing goes down, that's going to cause some damage on the ground.
Absolutely.
So we are
absolutely
extra cautious. But yeah, the smaller ones, if I'm trying to get tight shots, you clip a tree branch or something like that. It happens. It happens.
That's got to be terrible.
It is. It's not the best feeling in the world, but they're built well. You'd be surprised, especially the smaller ones. A lot of those public safety officials use those for, clearing buildings for hostage situations, and they're getting swatted out of the sky, and they're flipping them back over and popping them back up. So they can take a beating.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I had a close call with that big one. I just wasn't paying attention, got a little too close to a tree branch. I was filming something out in front of me, and I was trying to do a half orbital with the drone, and I just had my obstacle avoidance turned off to try to get a better shot, and just clipped the wing, but it cracked I think 2 out of the 4 propellers, and I was still able to land no problem. So they have some redundancies built in, but that one that made me pucker up a little bit. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So second one that personally, there's a lot, we talked a little bit about legislation, but legislation as it hits actual hunting, like in Alaska.
Yeah.
If you fly into Alaska, the day you fly in, and they drop you off, like a bush pilot drops you off, you can't hunt that day.
Yep.
And now they're like, I'm seeing like Kansas. You put a drone up, you can't hunt that day.
Yep.
Should we expect to see more and more of that, do you think?
So all 50 states, if I'm correct, all 50 states are very clear that drones cannot be used to assist in hunting, which we all understand that completely.
Absolutely.
It's a hugely
not very sportsman.
Unfair advantage, and that's not good for anybody.
Right.
But that's about as far as all states go. There's a few states that have a little bit clearer, lines on how to use a drone for deer recovery.
Right.
Virginia actually has a pretty well-established drone law when it comes to hunting, and they have. It's not just you can't use a drone for hunting. There's a few more steps to it. But in the state of Virginia, it's actually similar to Alaska. You cannot hunt the property the same day a drone has flown.
Right.
So if you call us out, we find your deer, whatever it is, and it's wounded or something like that, you can't go out and dispatch that deer in that same day. So legislation, I think what's going to happen is, and this is where in the early stages the education portion of this
absolutely.
is so important.
Yes.
We've all seen it happen. Something bad happens or something's used how it's not supposed to be used.
Of course.
And they're quick to file legislation that just kills everything.
Yeah.
So
and then you got to back out of it. And that's hard.
And so it's easier to get in there and let the people know that, hey, this service is being offered to help recover animals.
Right.
Our terms of service are very clear in that if you're calling us, the hunting portion of your day is over and you're now in the recovery mission.
Right.
So we're coming out there to help you recover a deer.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, have you ever had people come out and say, hey, can you fly this? Can you come over and tell us where? Have you had
I mean, it's 50% of people that come by the booth.
I was
are
wondering.
Just, man, I'd love to know it. I'm like, well, we're not doing this.
That's
to
not
help
our
you
job.
Hunt the deer.
Yeah.
We're here to.
Yeah,
to
it's a
help
recovery.
the
Yeah,
deer.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is not a hunting operation.
I was wondering.
At all.
Yeah.
And look, I get where people are coming with that.
Oh, yeah.
It does
I
get
get it,
frustrating because it's just like the first thing that everybody goes to. Is like, oh man, we kill more deer with that. It's like, no, this is not.
No, not
how
the
we're
way it's
operating
gonna
this. It's a deer recovery service. We want to help recover more
I think
deer
that's
that
awesome.
have been harvested.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. All right, Benny, where are we at on time?
That's right at our 20-minute mark, like we talked about. So, Tyler, what's a good place for how do people find you? How do they get a hold of you to call?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram, SkyHound Deer Recovery.
Gotcha.
So go on there. We're posting constantly. We're getting a ton of cool footage just being out there flying these drones. So go give us a follow on that. Shoot me an email, info@sky-hound.com, and
Gotcha.
the website is sky-hound.com.
Awesome, man.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you got a booth to get back to. We appreciate you taking the time out today. I would love to get you back on here and really talk more.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
Yeah, get some folks asking some other questions.
Yeah, once hunting season takes off, maybe we can get back in the middle and let you guys know how it's going.
I think that'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Awesome. Thank you so much again, Tyler.
Appreciate it, guys.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
You've been listening to The Hunting Quest. No matter how crazy, high-tech, or lazy the rest of the country gets, we will always be hunting and fishing. If that's you, you've found your new family. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. Reach out to us by email at info@thehuntingquest.com. And check us out on Instagram and YouTube at The Hunting Quest. See you next time.